Hello, this is Scott Rogers with Funkhauser Real Estate Group with another edition of my monthly market report on the Harrisonburg and Rockingham County real estate market. Let's take a look and see what's happened in the past month, as well as this full year and what we might expect for the future. You can find this full report at harrisonburghousingmarket.com. Starting with the pace of home sales, there were 97 home sales in March 2018. This marks a 3.19% increase from a year ago when there were 94 home sales. And looking back to the last few months of March, you can see this was the best March we've seen in quite a while. This adds up with the adds on top of the January and February sales to show 239 home sales for the first 3 months of the year. This is the best start of the first quarter based on the first quarter over the last few years. So we've seen a 3% increase year over year when comparing January through March of last year to January through March of this year. All that said, when we look at a 12-month running total, we're actually seeing a slight slowdown in home sales. There's been a 4.3% decline in the number of home sales when looking at it on an annual basis. There have been 1,268 home sales in the past 12 months and 1,325 in the 12 months prior to that. Median sales prices continue to increase. Looking again at the 12-month time frame here, you'll see that the median sales prices increased to $200,000 in Harrisonburg and Rockingham County, and that's a 4% increase from the $192,000 median sales price 1 year ago. Homes are also selling much more quickly, in a median of 31 days on the market. This is a 39% decline from the 51 days on market seen a year ago. So homes are selling 39% faster in the past 12 months as compared to the previous 12 months. Looking at the city versus the county, we see some relatively similar trends when we look at the 12-month running total here. There's been a 5% decline in city home sales and a 3% decline in Rockingham County home sales. So not a huge difference there. Likewise, not a huge difference in the increase in the median sales price. The differences are actually between the two regions overall. So there are about twice as many home sales in the county, 900, as compared to the city, 425. And homes selling in the county are selling at a median sales price of $215,000 versus $179,000 in the city. Some of this is just based on which properties are in the city versus in the county, and some of the more expensive properties are in the county, which increases that median sales price. Homes in the city, however, sell much more quickly, a median of 17 days on the market as compared to 42 days in Rockingham County. Looking at this entire graph of month-to-month home sales, we see that both February and March of 2018 were strong months of home sales, stronger than the previous 3 Februarys and the previous 3 Marches. So a strong start to the year. Next month, we're likely to see perhaps around 100 or 105 home sales, and then we'll really get into the thick of the buying and selling season. We're likely to start seeing 120 or 130, 140 even home sales per month through May, June, maybe in July, as well as in August. This is showing the last 6 years plus this year of how each month of home sales is piled upon the previous month. And so you can see if you look back here at this dark red bar all the way across, 239 home sales is the fastest start to any year that we've seen since at least 2012. So a strong start to the year in 2018 as to the number of homes that have sold. When we look at rolling 12-month periods, we see that there was a stable median sales price for all the way through about the middle of 2016, and then for the last almost 24 months we've seen steady increases in that median sales price. Looking at the big picture there, we went from 179,000 3 years ago to 186,000 to 192,000, and now we are up to 200,000 as the 12-month median sales price for Harrisonburg and Rockingham County for the first time ever. The pace of sales has actually started to slow over the past year, but perhaps is leveling back out over the past few months here. So this will be interesting to watch. We had seen many years of increasing pace of home sales, but as inventory started to restrict buyers' options, about a year ago we started to see home sales decline. Looking at our market overall, we can see that the last 6 or 7 years have mostly shown increases in the pace of home sales year to year, other than a 4% decline in the pace of home sales last year. And since 2011 or 2012, we've seen increases between 1 and 4% per year increases in that median sales price. So relatively slow and steady and small increases in median sales price in this market. When we break it out just to single-family homes, we do find that those are slightly larger increases. So a 5%, 7%, 5% increase in the median sales price. The current median sales price of single-family homes in the first 3 months of this year is now up to $229,900. Duplexes, townhomes, and condos, value-wise, have been a little bit more turbulent. We've kind of seen some dips and then some increases and then some plateaus and a 7% increase last year. So this is a little bit harder to predict. Some of this is affected by what happens to be built as far as new construction and sold and what price range those properties are in. But we have seen a steady increase in the number of buyers of duplexes, townhomes, and condos over the past 6 years, with a 12% increase to 370 buyers in 2017. When we look at the market balance between buyers and sellers, we see that over a year ago, there was a shift from, I guess a year and a half ago, there was a shift from this being a buyer's market with more sellers in the market than there were buyers to now definitely being a strong seller's market. There are many more buyers that are trying to buy homes than there are sellers to sell them those homes, and that gives the sellers have a very easy time selling in many cases, depending on the price and location of their home, and that results in buyers having to fight over those properties and give sellers the upper hand in the current market. Median price per square foot, it's reassuring to see this increasing. This is just looking at single-family detached homes. We're seeing steady increases here, which is good to see that in parallel to the increases in the median sales price. It confirms that overall value trends are increasing over the past 5 or 6 years. We'll flip forward a few here. New construction, single-family detached home sales. There were 77 last year and 82 the previous year. It looks like we might be on track to be somewhere in that same ballpark this year. This is new single-family home sales, and the price per square foot is continuing to increase on these new home sales as well. Contract activity has been a little bit interesting to watch this year. So there were 85 contracts in January as compared to 67 last January. So that was a big increase. There's a small increase between last February, 87, and this February, 90, and then a decrease March to March. That still results in when we're looking at that first 3 months, we do see an increase still in contract activity between this year and last year, but things slowed down a little bit in March. We are likely to see some strong contract activity over the next 3 months in April, May, and June, if the last several years are an indication of what we should expect. Inventory levels continue to decline. We've seen a 20% year-over-year decline from 400 homes for sale in the Harrisonburg and Rockingham County market to only 320. 2 years ago, wouldn't that be nice? 2 years ago, there were 570 homes for sale. So generally, some pretty significant declines, although we have seen over the past 2 months an increase in the number of homes that are on the market in Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. When we look at inventory levels based on single-family homes as opposed to townhomes and duplexes and condos, we can see there's been a similar trend in both, a 22% decline in single-family homes and a 14% decline in duplexes, townhomes, and condos. When we break it down, though, between the city and county, there's been relatively steady inventory over the past year in the city. 86 homes for sale a year ago, 84 now, which is only a 2% decline, whereas in the county, there's been a 25% decline from 314 homes for sale down to 236. When looking at how quickly homes are selling, half of the homes that have sold in the past year have gone under contract within 30 days. This is striking. This is a fast pace of buying activity. And then when we look at the next 30 days, we see an additional 14% of the homes that have sold that have gone under contract. So the median days on market for homes that have sold in the past year is 31 days, in contrast to the 67 days on market for those that are currently listed. Home sales by price range, you can see that the majority of homes that are selling under 200,000, which is why we have a median sales price of right around 200,000. So 53 homes per month are selling under 200,000, although that's an 11% decline over the past year. So these home sales are slowing, perhaps because of prices rising and because of low inventory levels. The next most significant price range is between 200,000 and 300,000, where we've seen relatively steady home sales over the past year. About 33 per month of those sales are happening. And then actually we're seeing increases in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, where we see a 9% increase, and the 400 and up price range, where there's a 13% increase. This graph is kind of showing a bunch of stuff all at once here. This is inventory level changes by price range. The blue line is the number of homes for sale under 200,000, and that's the most striking change over the past 2 years. And so that's been a 33% decline in the past year, and an even more significant decline over 2 years. Overall, we've seen declines in the level of inventory levels in all of the price ranges, but it's those lower price ranges that are affected the most. When we look at the number of months of houses available, so the months of housing supply available per price range, we're seeing that there has been a 28% decline both in the 400 and up price range as well as in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. So there's been a decline in the number of homes for sale as compared to the number of buyers that are in the market. And that also is very similar to what we're seeing in the under $200,000 price range. The only stable one there is the $200,000 to $300,000 price range. Generally, 6 months of supply is considered to be a balance between buyers and sellers in the market, and we're seeing well below that in every price range except for the most expensive homes in our market. We've got a few other graphs in here related to lot listings and sales, as well as land listings and sales. This one is an interesting one. This is looking at trustee sales. And so you can see a general increase in the number of traditional home sales and fewer foreclosures. Actually, this year so far, a remarkably small number of foreclosed properties, which is an overall sign of health of our market. Finally, looking at interest rates, they are edging up. So 6 months ago, we were around 3.8%, and we're now at around 4.4%, which is greater than a 0.5% increase over the past 6 months. So it will be interesting to see whether these are able to edge back down, or if we're going to be hovering in that 4.5% price range. Still absurdly low in any long-term context, but nonetheless, we are seeing increases, which does increase the monthly housing cost for anyone who is financing their purchase. And then unemployment rates continue to decline. So you can see over the past 3 years, steady year-over-year declines in the unemployment rate in the Harrisonburg and Rockingham County MSA. Again, I'm Scott Rogers. I am an associate broker with Funkhauser Real Estate Group here in Harrisonburg, and I'd be happy to talk to you further about your real estate situation. If you're looking to buy a home or buy an investment property, or you're looking to sell a home, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. On this last page of my market report, I have listed a variety of the websites that I've created as resources for you. You can find this full market report at harrisonburghousingmarket.com. And alternatively, if you want some more steady commentary on our local real estate market, you can visit harrisonburghousingtoday.com. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great month, and I'll be back here in about another month to check and see what April brought us here in Harrisonburg and Rockingham County.